Hey, how's it going? And tonight, I'm going to show you how to create what I call instant night in Unreal Engine 5.2. I did another tutorial like this, similar to this, but this is a little bit quicker and dirtier, I want to say. So we're just going to go into, we're in 5.2, we're going to go into blank project. I'll just leave it called my project 8, and I'm not going to save my previous project. This just takes a minute to do. The reason I'm doing this is that I'm interested in filming more at night than in the day in Unreal Engine. So like if we look at this scene right now in the blank world, you know, it's cool and everything, but there's really no mystery in the daylight. It's hard to get any dramatic lighting and stuff in broad daylight like this. So we probably want to be filming in something more at dusk or at night. So the question is, well, how can we do this as quickly as possible? That's what I'm interested in. So to get started with this, the first thing I'm going to do is, you'll notice we got this in the outliner under the lighting folder. We have all of our components for our lighting, environmental lighting. And there's also a mixer that's real handy, but I'm not going to get into that right now. We'll just stay right here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Edit, Project Settings, and we'll search for Exposure, and we'll just turn off Auto Exposure because we don't want anything adjusting automatically. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do, and probably the biggest thing we're going to do, is we're going to go to the sky atmosphere, and this will have a dramatic effect right away, and we're basically just turning it off. And we'll go under rendering, visible, and turn it off, and right away you see what an effect that has. Now what's interesting about this is we kind of have this directional light, but there's really not a sun associated with it. Like I can't really find the sun. I know it's over there somewhere, but we can see that it's lighting our scene. So the next thing that we can do we're going to go ahead and leave these clouds up, and so that's the only thing we have to turn off is the sky atmosphere. So then let's go into exponential fog, and then we'll search for volumetric and turn that on. And this is just a nice general effect to have for your scene, and we'll go ahead and clear that out, and then we can push up the fog density, and there's some fall off here. You can play around with those values, but one thing I want to point out is just because it only slides up to 0.05, you're not locked into that. So if you type in just 1, it really blows it out, but let's do 0.1. So we have a nice foggy, a lot mysterious lighting. And so you see right away our world looks a lot more interesting than it did, right? Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go into the kind of the star of the show here, which is the directional light. And if you hit Control L, click on the scene and hit Control L, you can notice you can move around, but things get very wonky with this control sometimes. So we're not going to use that control. But we lost our sun here, our directional light. So let's go back to the directional light. And under rotation, we're going to type in 90, tab, -90, and then 0 on the yaw. And this is probably the biggest setting right here is the lux. And what we're going to type in is 0.15, and this is really what's going to make it nighttime. So there we go. Now, one thing we can do, there's different adjustments, but one thing is on the light color. This is another way to darken the scene. We can pull this down and make it quite a bit darker. And one thing I want to mention about darkness is that our eyes, if you go outside at night, you'll notice, let me hit play, you'll notice that you never see total darkness. You rarely see something that's pitch black. We're very good at seeing into shadows and seeing at light. So here, we don't necessarily know why our scene is lit, but we can assume that, you know, maybe there's a moon behind the clouds somewhere or something like that. But we don't really see a direct light source with this. Looks like the cloud is getting lit by something. Or is it? And if it escaped now, I can even make this darker to bring home that sense. Source angle, it really doesn't affect us right now because we can't even see the sun. But the light color, we can again pull that down a little bit darker and really start getting a fairly dark scene. So between this and the lux, I can bring the scene up quite a bit, but let me just go point 0.1 instead of 0.15. I want it to be pretty dark. So let's hit play. So if I was walking around in this scene, it is hard to see, but it's dark, right? But that's the whole point of it. So, but what's great about this, if I hit escape and I come into the content drawer, I have starter content in here. If I search for fire, right here, I can just drag this into the scene, hit F, and now if I hit play, I can really appreciate these effects a lot more now at night in the dark setting like this. But this to me is a lot more interesting, a lot more mysterious, a lot better all the way around. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Take care, have a great day, and stay tuned for more tutorials on lighting this next 2 weeks. I'm going to be taking a deep dive into lighting in Unreal Engine.